What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Card CEO. All of the CEOs are in the house today. We have Bubba, Kern, and Ham. Boys, good to be with you.
See you, gentlemen.
Good to see you guys.
Did he get another one? Oh, Gallo's on his way back. He got it! Santa Maria! Lindor again!
There it is! He did it! A 40-70 season, and a season unlike any other in Major League Baseball history for Ronald Acuna Jr.
There's a drive to right, off the bat of Evan Carter, and what a postseason he is having.
He hits this one hard. He hits it a mile to left. Mike Trout has ripped a home run.
What's up, guys? This is Mike Trout, and you're listening to Sports Card CEO with Kern, Bubba, and Ham.
Yes, sir. We are going to rock and roll today. It feels fresh. I feel like we're in our stride now, right? We've been doing the pod for a little over a year, feeling confident, feeling like have plenty of experiences to bring to the table. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about this crazy market that we're in, the card market, investments, baseball general, just the boys talking over some stuff. And I think it's going to be really, really good. So in our regular fashion, we're going to kick off kind of a week roundtable. Bubba, you have been burning the candle at both ends, I know. So fill us in. What's been going on in Bubba's world?
Well, what's been going on is 13 games last weekend. All three boys played. 9-year-old son, 11-year-old son, 12-year-old son. 13 games from the time Saturday morning rolled around. The schedulers hate the Wilson family. If it's Saturday morning start times of 8 a.m., you got to be to the game an hour ahead of time to hit BP, and those games are about an hour and a half away. So
You know who also hates the Wilson family?
who's that?
The pitchers, the opposing pitchers.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. I think they might right now as well. But yeah, we're running on E. We are sponsored today by Eric's Drink. We are sponsored by Starbucks today. Or actually, Eric is sponsored by Starbucks today. He's drinking a Starbucks Venti coconut espresso, I think. And I could use one of those after this weekend because it is like one of those deals where you need the whole next day of Monday to kind of get yourself back to feeling like 90%. And that's where I'm at today. I'm up Tuesday morning. I'm ready to go. But man, yesterday, because Mondays are brutal anyway, just beat down from the weekend, 13 games. But I do want to hit on what Kern said I shared with both the boys last weekend. It was a super proud dad moment. My 12-year-old son, I mentioned on the show previously, and that's the coolest part of today's message from me, is had been in a little bit of a mental struggle to start the season, and had started to have some self-doubt creep in a little bit. He plays at a really high level for his age, like the top level you can play in the country at his age. And they were playing this weekend at the 12U NIT down in Atlanta, East Cobb area. And so you had the best teams all across the country in this tournament, including the number one team in the nation, which that's a whole other conversation about what that team looked like. But he was in his second game of the morning, came up, and I had told him and one of his buddies on Friday night, I said, guys, I'm not going to give you this deal unless this is what you do. I'm looking for a first pitch fastball, not a curveball, not a ball. I'm looking for a first pitch fastball home run. If you hit one, it's $200. Well, his buddy Henry comes up, first game, first at bat, first pitch fastball. Yeah. Okay, his buddy that I was talking to. So Jack's sitting over there going, oh man, Henry just hit a bomb, man. What am I going to do? Jack comes up, first at bat, first pitch fastball. Yeah, dead center over home plate. So it's like, all right, sweet. They both got their home runs in. We owe them $200. He comes up next at bat. Yeah. Pulls one to left, first pitch. So really cool moment. 2 home runs to kind of start a game, which is amazing to see your son do that. I leave his game. I drive an hour back to my next son's game, my 11-year-old son who just turned 11, and I tell him, hey, your brother just hit 2 home runs. First at bat, I'm watching him. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, what's going on here? There's bombs everywhere. So it was a cool weekend. Not to leave out my 9U son. I coached that team. We won the championship 15-2 on Sunday, 15-2 score. And so just a lot of fun. It's time and memories that I'll never forget being able to spend with my kids. It's exhausting, but to be able to see them go out there. And that's really anybody that listens to this show. That's what I love about baseball. And anybody that how these guys, and I appreciate this more than ever, how hard this game is, how hard the game of baseball is, how much appreciation I have for these guys that are doing this at a high level. It is so hard to do. And to share this is a little dig at the Mets here in a shout out to the Braves. It's such a mental game and momentum game. And you saw the Braves last year start off like 0-10. And now you see the Mets kind of going a little bit of what we went through as the Braves last year. It gets to be contagious that these guys get in their heads, and even at the major league level. And so that's just the comment of the day. You can take that from baseball to life. Your mindset is everything in this thing.
Yep.
And sometimes you got to step out, and you look at the Phillies now are in that same kind of slide in the NL East. And
Listen, Gary, it's the Mets. The Mets just suck. That's just what it is. They're not in their own heads. They just suck.
This is true. They can't hit. They got a good pitching staff.
They
Just
suck.
can't hit. They can't hit.
Well, dude, it's awesome to see the boys do well, and I tell you what, there's something special when you do see your kids do well, and that's what's amazing is like Liz and I mean, so my wife played college basketball, right? And I did not play in college, but was capable of playing. I hung it up, and we played at a high level. We had to let our kids leave our kids to the game. Right, like that was a couple of years ago because there was so much intensity. Right, I was like, no, just go and do whatever you do. But when you leave them to the game, and they make the decision that they wanna put the work in, and they make the decision, that's a special moment, and so that's awesome to hear the boys doing well.
Yeah, man, they're doing well. And kind of wrap up, I am going to share this when this is done because this has been one of the biggest projects that's also been bogging me down a bit. Building this field at my house, the CEO field, as we're going to call it here. When this thing is done, I can't wait to unveil it. It's been quite the process getting a turf field in. So I want to share this with y'all when it's done. It's going to be a really cool project. But
Gary, I feel really
Ham.
bad. I feel really bad for you, man. You're really stressed building this baseball field in your backyard.
Well, it is stressful when you're building this field and you're like, I think I'm gonna build this little field. It might cost a little bit of money. And then you get out there and guy came in and gave me a quote that builds fields locally. He came in, I was like, hey man, I'm gonna buy all the material. I just need you to come put this grass down for my infield, okay? He's like, yeah, sure, man, I'll come look at it. He comes look at it, $140,000 quote to come out and install carpet on an infield. I'm like, what? $140,000? I'm like, how long is this going to take you? A year? He's like, oh no, we'll be done in like 3 or 4 days. I'm like, what the hell? Your day rate's like $50,000 a day, bud?
We're in the wrong business.
Yeah, apparently.
Hey, Kern, I want Bubba to put a little $200 little nugget charge out to you and I today. Bubba, what kind of instruction do you have for me? Let's see how hungry we are.
If you boys hit a home run episode, I give you $200 each. If you don't, next episode, you each owe me 200 push-ups live on the episode, shirtless for our fans.
That would be entertaining.
That would be terrible. All right, so all good to hear. Well, I'll tell you what, man, Ham House has been the word for the Ham House is reset. We have been in a massive season of reset here lately. For me, it started personally after Brandon Steiner attacked me on my gout. That was a great little starter for me. But I did. I had to hit reset on a lot of things in life, and we had some transition at our office at Airlie Oak. We've got a new hire starting next Monday, replacing one of our key employees who's been there for 2 years. And I've got 2 new salespeople starting May 4th. So just a lot of reset. And then with the card thing, I looked at it today. After this week, we will own less than 10 sports cards. And when I say that, like I've got a stack of like paper right here. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like slabs.
Yeah.
So we've got less than 10 slabs pretty much in inventory. And the game plan has been to sell into this market, which we're going to talk about the market and how crazy it is. But that's been the game plan, to sell into the market. And honestly, though, I don't quite have a picture of what's next. And that's kind of I'm in this moment right now where it's like things have been really good. We're hitting reset, but it's like I don't know which way the ship is headed. And there's one of my favorite quotes of all time. It was like a philosophical guy. He said, no fair wind blows for the ship without port. And meaning that if you don't know where you're headed, you cannot take advantage of a fair wind. And so I'm really wanting to kind of point the ship in a right direction over the next 30 days and kind of feel charged by that. We're wrapping up baseball season for Matthew. The boys that do still have some travel basketball stuff, but it's I don't know. It's just it's a moment in time, and I know it's just a moment, but I don't really have a lot of direction. And so I'm just kind of sitting, being still, being patient, and waiting on that, waiting on that moment. So that's where we are. Currency.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same as you, Matt, but minus the baseball, older kid baseball thing. But I'm in my groove at work now, and I'm in a good place from a hobby standpoint. I'm not really doing much. I mean, I'm selling into the market, like you said, like where I can, where it makes sense, right? Capitalize, but it's kind of stagnant right now. There's kind of like a very in between, at least from a Bowman standpoint. I don't think draft was that great of a product, um, as far as prospects. I have some great players in there, but it's not like a 24 draft kind of feel. But a lot of those guys come out later. They blossom later. Like Connor didn't blossom till a little bit later. Carson Bench didn't come to fruition until later. So, I don't know. It's kind of an in-between phase. 25 Bowman, I think, is going to be fantastic, and then 26 Bowman Draft's going to be phenomenal. One of the best products.
Yeah. What's the 25
Yeah.
draft kind of target date, release date?
25 Draft already came out.
I mean, I'm sorry, 26
Bowman?
Bowman. Yeah.
26 Bowman. I think it's May 10th or 10th, somewhere around there.
We're like in a month.
Yeah, it's pretty soon, I think. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of like in this dead phase, which we'll get into more. But yeah, from a personal standpoint, I'm hanging, man. I'm getting in the groove of work and I'm getting my flow. I'm spending a ton of time with the kids and my wife, and I'm looking forward to summer. Like I really am. It's just so strange. Last week it was 82 degrees here, and we're out in shorts and a t-shirt running in Central Park, and today it's 35 degrees. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm looking forward to summer.
I'm gonna start calling you Olaf. I'm gonna have that little Frozen song. Summer. That's current.
If you want to build a snowman,
you know it. We all have little kids.
come on.
We know it. We know it.
You want to come
Kern,
out
I
and
cannot
play?
wait to do an episode this year at your summer beach house. The whole crew invited up to your house.
Let's do it.
A little
Let's do it.
sleepover
We'll
by the
do
pool
one
episode.
By the pool, exactly.
Yep, there we go. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Let's do it. We'll all do the episode shirtless.
Yeah, I will.
Yes.
I will say this. We talk about this, about the field and about New York and all this kind of stuff. Boys, if we don't do this, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be mad.
Who is the hairiest CEO, Ham?
The hairiest? Probably
Definitely not me.
I'll go with Matt Ham.
Yeah, I'm going.
I'm going Ham. I'm going Ham's got a little back hair.
No, I don't.
I've got hardly any chest hair, boys. That's a reality here. Hardly any. Maybe we're a hairless crew here. Who knows?
I
barely have any leg hair.
Dude, that's a question I could see Kern asking. So, Kern always asks these random questions. How much back hair do you have?
Dude, my uncle, though, my dad's kind of like not that hairy of a dude. My uncle looks like a woolly mammoth, dude. He takes his shirt off. It's like his polo in the back's like sticking out 4 inches. It's like, dude, what's on your back? He's got
hair on his shoulder blades.
Yeah, people ask him, "Are you Quasimodo?" He's got like no, dude, that's back hair, bro.
Teen Wolf, man. Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, always good to laugh. It feels good to cut up a little bit. We want to dive in today into this crazy sports card market that we are in, and that's one of the things I think that's kind of is challenging right now. I want to share a quick statistic, right? And we talked about this pre-show, so I can't ask you guys the question, but if you go to Card Ladder, which a lot of people ask us, what resources do you use? And Card Ladder is one that we all three, really do utilize. It's a great job to cross-reference sales, but they have these indexes where it indexes kind of the general move of the market. And one of their indexes is called the Bowman 100. And so the way that this talks about the market is 100 of the most frequently graded Bowman Chrome prospect autographs in a PSA 10. Okay. So it's pulling data of these Bowman things. Now, we talked about this earlier. Over the past 2 weeks, the Bowman 100 is down 4.5%. Over the last month, the Bowman 100 is down 2%. But if you go back to 3 months, which is about the start of the year, it's up 12%. So you saw the rise of the market into debut, opening day, blah, blah, blah. We've all talked about this. And now we've kind of got the fall off, right? And so in this lull, let's talk about the market and kind of how it creates potential lack of opportunity and how to find opportunity even in a market that's a little bit soft.
Well, and I think I just want to kind of clarify this. I'm pretty sure what the Bowman 100 means is like the top 100 Bowman prospects, similar to that what you would see of like a Baseball America top 100. It's almost like the top 100 cards they've compiled in Bowman. So that would make some sense, right? Like, because I think that's how
I
it
think it's
appears.
different. I read it differently. I read it as like
how did it read?
It reads
I
as
read it highest grade, the most graded
top
Bowman
100
cards,
most
basically,
graded
prospect.
Bowman Chrome prospect autographs.
Like,
so is
that
that
could be
of
a
anybody?
Paul Skeens card. It could be a Yamamoto card.
But it's the
could
top
be
100 graded. So, like,
Right.
you've got to feel like if Connor Griffin's getting graded most frequently, he's definitely going to be in there, versus, John Gill, like John Gill's probably not going to be in there because he's not, so it's taking the top 100 most graded Bowman prospect autograph cards and it's indexing those.
Yeah. Well, I think Kern, you nailed it earlier, in my opinion, when you used the word stagnant. I had that written on my page here, and I don't think when one of the three of us on the show feels stagnant, then you could say, okay, well, maybe that guy's just going through kind of a little bit of burnout, right? When a second guy does it and go, maybe it is, but when there's three of us saying that it's stagnant, then you know that it truly is. And because we all have a really good pulse on this market, and how I think we start this story, boys, is we talk about this all the time. And the title of this episode is really like, how to navigate this the stagnant period, right? And we've all been deciding, like, what's next? Who's next? What's next? You look at 2024 and you go back in time and say, what did Bowman look like in 2024? It was a pump and dump, right? You were going to see prices go down in the winter. You were going to see prices go up in the spring. And at opening day, everybody wanted to be out of Bowman, right? That's been the classic pre-2025 Bowman cycle. Well, last year, we saw this continuous rise of Bowman that really never stopped, if y'all recall. I mean, it was like season came, there it goes higher, it goes higher, it goes higher. And then this year, it had it was more just kind of steady. It never really had like huge spikes because it was just this continuous kind of rise of KG, of McGonigal, of Weatherholt, the three that were kind of leading that market. And then all of a sudden, two of the three are starting opening day on a roster. And then you got the third one coming up, obviously, quickly right after, who got that initial bump of excitement of getting the call. But what is crazy to me, and we've talked about this, but it makes complete sense. I think it tells you how smart the Bowman market is. They're sitting there going, okay, we've got Connor Griffin oranges that are worth, let's just call it $30,000 right now, $35,000. We've got Kevin McGonigal PSA 10 oranges worth, let's call it 15 to 18,000 right now. Okay, let's just call that the range. And you've got JJ Weatherholt oranges worth 12 to 15. And I think that's where your market's going. That's a lot of money. Okay, and it's a lot of money for their cards in general. What's going to take that brand to the next level of this player? What is that exciting moment that is going to do something for them? Well, bottom line is KG has had some moments to shine, but he hasn't hit his first home run yet, right? That hasn't even gotten people to that excitement or that fever pitch yet. You look at McGonigal, he's hit one home run. He's hitting over 300, but like we talked about, chicks dig the long ball, and he's not hitting the long ball. He's in the box score every night going 2 for 5, but it's not getting people other than Tigers fans really excited. And then you look at Weatherholt, who's hit maybe, I think, 3 home runs, had a 2 home run game. He had a 2 home run game, and the market acted like it didn't even happen. And so it's people just, I think, sitting back and looking and saying, are these guys going to be superstars? And then you look at guys like Roman Anthony, who was everybody's lover boy coming into this season. And have you seen what's happening to his prices?
Well, Gary, his Red's up to $1 million already, right?
Yeah.
Give me freaking break. Welcome to Bowman, motherfucker.
His Red's $1 million and his Blues 2,000. But I mean, it just shows you, though, in my opinion, how smart people have gotten in this space. And I think it's where we need to navigate today, just openly about where we even all go from here in the next couple months. Obviously, we've got the new release. That's going to spur energy, right? And that's what I think we need. That's what's great about Bowman's, having new releases that spur some energy. But I think it's also going like, look at Jordan Walker. It is the same market it always has been. It's what have you done for me lately? If Connor Griffin goes on a binge, everybody's going to go, oh, yep, it's official. He is what we thought he was.
Yes. So, like, on the other end of the spectrum, from a vet standpoint, Mike Trout, hell of a series at Yankee Stadium,
Yep.
his market went up.
Yep.
Like, he's already established, but it's what have you done for me lately? Everybody's all of a sudden remembering, oh, this guy's a GOAT, like this guy is the real deal. He's a Hall of Fame. It's what have you done for me lately? It goes with prospects, it goes with, rookies, and it goes with vets.
100%.
It, Bob, I'm gonna cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say you're 100%. Go ahead, Pam.
Yeah, so I've been kind of perusing this card ladder data here, and I want to give a parallel. I was talking to my business partner the other day. Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, is just across the bridge from us, like 2 miles, and it's a very high-end beach. It's become more exclusive over the years, but when I was a kid, people was talking about like buying a house at Wrightsville Beach, right? And you could have bought a house at Wrightsville Beach for like $400,000, right? And this is 30 years ago, probably. Actually, probably even 20 years ago. You could buy a house at Wrightsville Beach for 400, 500K. And at the time, we're all like, oh my gosh, that was expensive, according to the market or whatever. Well, now you can't get on the beach for under 2 million. Like a teardown is 2 million, right? And so if you didn't buy at 400, you sure as heck aren't buying at 2 million. But the question is like, how much higher can the values go? And real estate is different than cards, certainly. But when you're talking about assets and kind of like that idea of like buyer's hesitation, that's what's dynamic for me right now, because we're looking at some of these Jordan inserts and it's like, why would I buy that card at 13K when I literally could have bought it at $7,000 a year ago? And it's really hard to see and find value in cards when you've seen so much of a rise. Looking at these numbers here, they have an index on Card Ladder, and they call it the SX100, which is basically like 100 cards that give you a cross section. Over 1 year, that index is up 86%. 86%. And then the Card Ladder 50, which are 50 hand-selected cards that best represent the card market, over 1 year is up 51%. And then you get into the high-end market, right? These are cards over $5,000. The high-end market is up 63% over the last year. So if you kind of take these numbers, you're looking at 60%, you're looking at 50%, you're looking at 80%. When you see that kind of increase in the card market, like, does that scare you guys? Is that just going, oh yeah, that's just the money coming in? Is there another 80% on the back end of this thing? Like, here we are, like, embedded in this hobby, and I'm sitting here going like, I'm a little nervous with 80% over a year. What kind of asset can sustain 80% growth year over year?
Kern, I'll let you. Well, yeah, I'll touch on it. It makes me, I don't say it scares me, but it makes me have my eyes open on what's going on. And I think that in any market that's that way. And I think goes back to the same thing my money manager always says at Merrill Lynch, like, you've got to be careful thinking you're the smartest guy in the room sometimes on predicting markets, because you never really know what's going to happen. And so he said some of the biggest days up are the ones that follow the biggest days down. And so I think that the smart move is, like we've been talking about the whole time, is making sure your allocation, you have conviction on it, dumping the stuff that you don't, and repositioning yourself. And I think that's where I'm at 100%, is going, how do I continue to reposition myself to be in the position to pounce where I want to pounce? And I know we've talked a lot about this so far, but that's where I'm at. I've been thinking about this for months. Where I'm sitting right now, where I'm looking to pounce, is minor leaguers that I think are going to be the next minor leaguers. I don't know who that is yet, though. I look at the box scores every night. Kern, I know you're looking at box scores. I'm looking at what guys are doing. There's been some guys I've starred and I have on my watch list that are intriguing me. But I think where the value lies right now, and this is where I'm going to put it right now, and people can roast me later if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am, is pitchers. I think the pitcher market right now, and finding these guys has so much upside on some of these guys that are not that big touted guys, but the guys that are right there in the middle, the guys that maybe not are tier 1 prospects, but are that tier 2 prospect that has filthy stuff. I'll give you an example. A guy like a Travis Sakura is extremely undervalued to me for the type of player that he could be for that team. If he comes up and he balls out, he's going to explode. You got a guy like J.R. Ritchie for the Braves. Okay. He's got a .99 ERA in AAA. Kid's ready for a call. When he gets it, is his blue still going to sell for $300, Kurt?
No.
Exactly. His blue sells for $300. And so that's where that's where I think I'm looking right now as pitchers in this kind of time of stagnation, and then saying who is the next hitter coming up? Because honestly, I don't know. I'm looking at that board and going, yeah, we know Luis Pena is a dog. Yeah, we know Jesus Mate is a dog. Yeah, we think Cole Emerson's going to be pretty good. Yeah, I think Aiden Miller is going to be really good, but he hasn't played a single game yet. And you look at George Lombard, who's balling out. Yeah, we think George Lombard's pretty good, but their prices are already reflecting that. And so it's like looking at these next wave and going, who is that going to be? And I don't know yet. I just don't. I wish I could say, yeah, I declare this is it. I just don't know.
Yeah, and I think I agree with that, Bubba. And also, I mean, we talk about this all the time, so I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but the base autos are just so overprinted, and the print run's just so high that I just don't see value in when you're buying a prospect, not a proven star. And I still see value in any base auto because they're just proven. I think people, especially now, are just looking for more scarce stuff. The scarcity is what's winning right now.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how you look at it. And base autos are not scarce. Cool. If you're collecting for a different reason other than to make money, tremendous respect. Great. Cool. Awesome. That's what collecting is. But if you're looking to make money, people are looking for scarce, low numbered cards, low population cards. We say this all the time. But with prospects, people want the scarcity, the low numbered cards. But yeah, I'm looking for the same thing. I mean, I'm not looking, when you get yourself in trouble is you start buying prospects because you're just guessing and thinking that's the right guy. That's the guy. That's the next guy.
Or
I
because
feel
you're
like, what's that?
because you're bored.
Or because you're bored,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, sometimes it takes patience, the guy you might not like somebody that was in the draft product, that was in Bowman draft. I think the guy that comes out of draft that's going to be the best guy is JoJo Parker, right? His prices already kind of reflect that. So, like, what are you going to do? You have to look elsewhere. If there's nobody that you like, guess what? Don't spend $5,000 on a red right now. You know what I mean? You gotta have conviction. And if you don't have the conviction, you wait, you be patient. That's just the way I see it, like right now, everybody that I am invested in, that I still am holding their cards, that I'm convicted on are guys that are, Luis Pena, like Connor Griffith, like these guys are all like, we know they're crushing it. They're doing well. Josue DePaula, like these guys, Aiden Miller, like Gary said, these guys are already doing their thing and their prices are reflecting it. Is there room for growth in their pricing? Yeah, for sure. There is with Aiden Miller. Absolutely. There is with George Lombard. I think there is, he's a Yankee. I just think the Yankees will screw him up and not bring him up. But you got to be patient. That's the bottom line.
So the interesting thing here is I keep looking at these card ladder indexes, and it's kind of fascinating. If you look at, like I said, the SX 100, that's like the biggest snapshot 100 is up 86%. The high end's up 63%. Vintage overall is only up 27%. And vintage is this really, really consistent thing.
It's actually higher than I thought it would be, to be honest with you.
I know. And I'm sitting here going, man, so when you combine some of these indexes, right, you say, okay, instead of just going after high end or instead of just going after vintage, I'm going to go after low pop, high end vintage. You know what I mean? Get like super niche in like what you're going after.
Mhm.
Then I start to think that you're cornering aspects of the market that are very difficult to be replicated. The question that I have, though, is will people continue to put this kind of capital into these assets? This is a legitimate conversation I had the other day. Gary, I want you to weigh in on this because I know you've got some commercial real estate or whatever. I tend to like income producing assets. If I had my druthers, right? Assets that I can put money into that generate income, not just appreciating assets, but income producing assets.
I like depreciating assets.
Yeah. There's a lot of people.
I love depreciating assets.
There's a lot of people in this hobby that do like depreciating assets. But the point being is that, it's hard for me when you get into a certain stratosphere, right? Of going, okay, I'm going to buy a card that's a 6-figure card versus I can go put that into an income producing rental property, or whatever. And so, a little Matt said, Dad, I'd love for you guys to talk about this. He said, if all of the CEOs had to throw $100,000 on the table and all 3 CEOs had to say, where would I put $100,000, right? Over the next 90 days, where would you put it? And it was interesting because it made me think, and I was like, I'd want to go find an income producing asset. You know what I mean? Rather than chasing after a big vintage card or even a bunch of small cards. I don't know. We don't have to go all the way down that path, but I'm just curious of you guys' take on when it gets to a certain sphere of how much money is going to continue to flow in these non-income producing assets that people are just holding.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Gary.
I mean, I'm about to go on a tangent, Kern. So go ahead. I mean, I got a tangent
No,
coming.
I want to hear your tangent. I'm thinking. I want to hear your tangent.
I love analogies. I love them. I love the comparison between the stock market and cards. I'm going to give you an example of when there's overbought territory and there's oversold territory. And our buddy Brent Ware does a really good job of trying to highlight the fear and greed index. Have you ever seen him post that before, where it talks about the stock market and fear and greed and where people are at in that? We've been at a greed cycle. We've been at a fear cycle with the war. It's bounced back and forth, and we're somewhere kind of in between that. I think that's what you would call the markets in general. People are just waiting. And we talk about, we don't show that in sports cards, but the world is this news fury of, oh, war's ending tomorrow. No, we're going to bomb them tomorrow. The war's ending tomorrow. No, it's not. And so when I look at this and you look at cards, and I'm going to use Connor Griffin as an example. When Connor Griffin's true blue first auto starts getting close to 2K, which it's the one sold the other day for 2.5, I start going, that's oversold territory, in my opinion, for the value that he could provide. When Mike Trout's BGS 9 is worth 12 to 15,000, we think Connor Griffin can be in that sphere. Obviously, he's got a long way to go to be there, but he's got that potential. 2,000 is pretty cheap on that guy. When Kevin McGonigal is batting 320 in his rookie year and is the favorite to be the AL Rookie of the Year, and you can buy his true blue for $1,400, that's oversold, in my opinion. And that's where I think we're starting to border on. We were overbought at some moments. I think we're starting to get back to where I'm interested to dip a toe back in on the other side. I hope that it continues to get oversold because I've been looking for these opportunities, so continue to oversell it. Let me go buy JJ Weatherholt Orange Shimmers, which I'm buying Orange Shimmers. Yeah, I'll admit it. I raised my hand. I bought one for like $1,400.
So
give me an Orange Shimmer auto.
So you're saying overselling is leading to finding value.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I'm sitting here watching cards now, because people are sitting so far on the sidelines on some of these guys that you can come slide back in and find value. And that's what I've started to do. There's an auction ending tonight, and there's two of them. And these cards, I'm going to buy them tonight. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, because they're going incredibly low. And no one will know until after this episode, so I've already bought them. Sorry, gentlemen. Two Kevin McGonigal Blacks are on bids tonight. They're at like $1,500 and $1,800.
I was on those too.
So let's buy them together. Let's buy them together.
Let's
don't beat each other up.
I'm just kidding.
They're way too cheap, and they're going to end.
That's how this relationship started.
Exactly. It started like, hey,
we're bidding on the same card.
Let's not bid each other up here. But tonight, those cards are going to end low, and they're going to go too low. And I'm probably going to slide in and buy those two cards because that's what's happening. We've gone the other way now. People have gone and pulled it back, and they're going, oh, what's next? It's stagnant. It's kind of putting everybody to sleep. Why that happens, sometimes you slide in and you find that opportunity. And so I'm going to give this example, this analogy between Bowman right now and tech AI. AI was the rage. Everybody wanted AI. Everybody wanted the MAGA, right? Or not MAGA, the what do they call that? The tech not MAGA, that's Trump. But what do they call that stuff? They got Meta, you've got Google, you've got Amazon. You had all I can't remember. It's some little thing like MAGA, but it's not.
I'm not helping you here. Go ahead.
Nobody's giving me.
I'm just having fun watching you chase your tail.
I don't think you guys watch the market quite the same. But anyway, those stocks have been favorites. Apple, Meta, Google for years. I mean, they just could not go down. Well, now all of a sudden, the last
ARK fund. Are you talking about the ARK fund?
No, they make a name for those these tech names, and essentially those stocks have not gone down. They have not gone down at all. Well, all of a sudden, the last 6 months, they have. There's been this overselling of these names. Well, now that things are starting to kind of creep back up, you know what's starting to come back the quickest? Are those names, because are people using Instagram any less? Are they using Amazon any less? Are they using Google any less? And it's an absolutely a no. Are people looking for Bowman any less right now? Are there less people wanting to get into Bowman right now? The answer is no. So I look at Bowman long term as this is an opportunity to kind of reassess and kind of find some value. And then I look at vintage as a dividend stock. I look at it as this boring dividend that you know it's safe and it's going to be there forever and it's going to pay you a little bit of value every year sitting in your safe when you look 20 years out. And then I look at this low end bullshit that people are selling on these breaks and this BS. It's a cosmic raptor out of 55. He's got a gold chain on and it's really shiny. And I'm buying it for $1,200. Newsflash, that shit's like buying Krispy Kreme donut stock. That shit don't exist anymore, bro. And your car is going to be gone in a year. No one wants that shit. They're going to burn it. So that's where I'm at with the market right now. Is you want to be going with the good stuff and the good Bowman, the tech, the AI names. Look at the names that are going to hold value. Look at guys that have true talent, and that's the shit you buy. Don't buy this trash. If you want to put your stuff, you put your money in kind of a dividend stock, go into vintage. If you want to go something that has a high riser, find good names in Bowman and keep playing the game and stop being so scared, boys.
This is why I wanted this rant.
I love it.
Rant's a-
It's so funny. It's like Bubba's like a little wind up doll, like Kern. Kern just winds him up and lets him go. Like,
I mean,
I love it. I love it. Bubba, I think what you were talking about is the Magnificent Seven. Is that what you're talking about? The top six?
Thank you. That's why I said MAGA, because I was thinking magnificent. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So we've corrected that, and we've got no. And I love, to your point, this idea about buying stuff, that you have conviction in and relating it to the stocks. And again, the dividend earning vintage versus the Bowman being the tech stock and all that kind of stuff versus the trash that's just out there, the penny stocks. Invest a Center. That's what he said. It's like selling Invest a Center. Whatnot is Invest a Center, by the way, in case you were wondering. Whatnot is Invest a Center.
it's a dirty place.
Yeah, it is. So, Kern, what are your thoughts on this? You've been kind of quiet sitting in the background.
I just wanted to be entertained by Gary. I mean, no, like I think you said it honestly very well. Like that analogy with penny stocks and all that smaller bullshit. Like, look, people can collect what they want to collect. I just don't see any value in those things. I
Yeah.
see absolutely no value. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of forgot what we were talking about, to be honest.
When you're
So-
buying the
Cut this.
Twinkie, when you're buying the Trey Turner brand card, it sucks. When you're buying the when you're buying the Cosmic Brownie Colt Emerson Flash Red Alpha card, it sucks. Go buy the best card that's there, the Bowman first,
Yeah.
$4.99
Yeah.
and up, and find a real
Yes.
card of a real
Yeah.
player that has
So-
real value.
So Aram, actually, a couple weeks ago, he was texting me and he's like, I have some Colt Emerson. I have a couple Colt Emerson cards. Like, should I get rid of them? I'm thinking about getting rid of one. I was like, well, what do you have? I think he said, like, I have a true blue first auto, and I have a red sapphire PSA 10 non-auto pop one. And I was like, get rid of the red sapphire. He texts me like a week later and he goes, I got an offer for like $5,000 on eBay on the red sapphire non-auto. He's like, am I underselling it? I was like, no, accept.
Take
Now.
it yesterday. Yes.
He's like, but it's a red. I'm like, it's a shit card. Sorry, sell it.
Yeah.
Sell it. Like, I'm sorry, it's a red. I get it, but it's like, it's a Sapphire Selections, Prospect Sapphire Selections, non-autographed. Like, take it. You know what I mean?
So here's the premise, though. Like, so Topps Football just released, and we love Fanatics. We love Topps and our buddies and all the folks at Fanatics that do a great job. They've done a great job of bringing eyes to the hobby, etc. But Bubba, to your point, that is what's perpetuating this. Is the manufacturers are perpetuating this because they need product to sell. And talking about this, like with allocations and stuff going to these breaking companies, now what you're having to do, we walked into our local card shop, one of our local card shops the other day. They bought the Topps football release, and he said that to get a second round, they were making them pay $1,100 per hobby box for Top Football.
Yeah. So that's the other thing I wanted to talk about, where we're talking about finding value in the market. Obviously, we talk primarily and mostly about cards, right? But sealed wax is a huge opportunity to actually make money. Now that Fanatics has the licensing for football and basketball, I think this year is an unprecedented year where wax prices are through the roof because it's the first year of that. I know they're impossible. Cases can be impossible to get your hands on. If you're going on tops and it's an EQL, it's impossible to get. It's impossible to win, and then you're fighting bots when it's not an EQL. But even on that first day after secondary market pricing, or a week later, even if it's double the price and it's a good product, and you have a feeling that it's a great rookie class, it's still worth buying and holding on to. They're appreciating assets if it's a great class. Buy them and hold on to them. Stock them away. Lock them in a room with you don't know the combination, so you don't rip.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say is, like, how many people have the discipline to buy a
Well,
box of
but
wax?
if you have the discipline, it's great investment. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And even if it's not a great rookie class, it's not going down from retail price. I mean, yeah, it's risky if you're buying it, if you're buying in the secondary market non-retail, right? But it's also probably readily available to get if it's not a great rookie class. But if you can get your hands on some at a good price, even well over retail, it's worth the stock. You can make a lot of money doing
So
buying sealed wax.
So Arum's talked a lot about 26 draft. Okay, that's coming as being probably one
Yeah.
of his favorite classes, maybe that will ever have come through. Guys, I think that's a great point, Kern. Like, that's where people should be targeting that. You look at some of the
Yeah.
wax holdings that you could have done the last 3, 4, 5 years if you would have held, and I have done some of this. I mean, it's easy money. I mean, it's an easy 50 to 100% hold
Look,
if you have that discipline.
when I was ripping a ton of 24 draft late last year, searching for that Connor Super, and there were still a couple reds out there. It was just a great class overall. Cases were like $8,000, hobby case, right? And it was like, oh my God, this is so expensive. It's crazy. They're 14, 15 grand now. Like, I wish I bought all of them that were available at 8 grand. It just keeps going up. So if the class is good, buy.
It's an interesting thing too, is like, because I wonder, kind of playing devil's advocate here, how much of the value of those boxes is created by the breaking industry, right? Like, I mean, again, they have to have product to have a show. I mean, bottom line, right?
Yep.
And so how much of that industry and again, I'm not knocking it. Like, I believe that the repack industry and the breaking industry and this online selling, that is actually a leg of the table that is holding up this hobby. You can like it or not like it. It is 1000% supporting the value structure in this hobby.
Well, you're
And
hitting on something, Ham. You gotta, if you're saying that though, we've got to hit this topic because it's happening, right? It's happened for the last 6 weeks in Bowman. It's almost been non-existent, the repack world.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And that's what I'm saying. It's like how, like, the long-term sustainability of the repack and the breaking industry is based on people willing to buy, knowing that, a lot of junk is in there, right? And when you get an uneducated populace who comes into the hobby and goes, oh, fun, shiny object, let me put some money in this. I hear people are making money in sports cards, and then they get burned. They don't do well or whatever. Most people,
I'm talking about in breaks.
yeah, just in general. Like I said, I think values of these cards and these products are being propped up by people who don't know what they're doing, and they're just getting into the market and they're buying into this, and it's not as sustainable long term as we might think. But maybe there's always going to be folks who are just into that kind of thing. But it's kind of curious. I don't understand it, but I have trepidation and hesitancy because I know that is a major part of the industry that's being propped up.
Yeah. I agree with what you said, that it's a leg of the hobby that, is driving it. I also think it's extremely dangerous for newcomers to come in and do that. I mean, it's going to last as long as people are willing to gamble, because that's what it is. It's a
That's all it
gambling
is.
app. And it honestly is scary because newcomers coming in, especially kids, I mean, this is a whole nother topic, right? But kids coming in that just can charge their credit card and max out their credit limit, it's gambling. It's
Yep.
gambling. It's not collecting. Like, those aren't collectors. Those are gamblers. The app, Whatnot, is a gambling app. Yeah, well, the breakers, I think, are a big piece of this hobby that keeps it going. They run through product. That's what it is. They run through product. They're a big leg for fanatics. They run through product, but it's really dangerous. It doesn't educate people on the actual card market or collecting or the right way to do things. All it does is max out their credit cards and put them in significant amount of debt.
To one thing to touch on, and I've had this written on my sheet for a while. And again, I mentioned shimmers earlier, and I don't want to make this a shimmer show, but I do want to mention this. And I think this is something that, what you just mentioned this, Ham, it's the perfect time to mention it. A lot of times waves and shimmers and sapphires have been a big repack type product, right? A lot of buying of those cards. You would see, oh, welcome, you hit a gold shimmer PSA 10. Wow, it's a grail.
Who says welcome?
I don't know.
Welcome. Here's your card. And welcome to Movie Phone.
Howdy. Welcome to Whatnot. I don't know what they say on Whatnot. I've never
Why
been
don't
there.
you just tell me the card you'd like to hit?
But shimmers, waves, and sapphires historically have been roughly 50% of value of a true. Is that about how y'all viewed it in the past? Somewhere in that range, around 50% of value?
Yeah.
The reason I've been dipping my toe again into these things is repackers are not buying these cards. They're selling it sometimes 10, 15, 20% that of a true right now because there's been less of a buyer pool. And so I think that that's another opportunity when you're seeing true oranges, a PSA 9 sell for $8,000 and a shimmer is selling for 1,500 of the same card. That's an opportunity. And so that's something that's why I've been dipping my toe a little more into shimmers and waves recently, because there's been less of a buyer pool on a good player. I'm not buying Cocoa Crisp shimmers. Okay. I'm buying Kevin McGonagall's. I'm buying the KGs because that's where there's value on a good player that exists. So anyway, I just had to share that. I like to share those little tidbits. I think that's for somebody that's looking for some value. If you're seeing shimmers, sapphires, and waves going for 25% or less of that of a true, I think that's an opportunity.
So we're going to start calling you Bubba Shimmer Wilson.
Cocoa Crisp.
Shimmer.
And then, I feel like we have to stay on top of, educating these people that listen to this show. And most of our listeners probably understand this, but people who come in and they're wanting to get I think that there's such a need for education in the hobby space, but it's kind of one of those things, like the more you educate people, the less it kind of pads the pockets of some of the junk out there. So it's kind of this weird space where it's like, yeah, we want to educate them too much. You know what I mean? Because then they stop buying wax. Like I literally was in this local card shop the other day and this mom was in there with their son and the card shop owner was like, yeah, you probably don't want to buy a box of cards, And I'm sitting there going like, I don't know that the folks at Fanatics would necessarily want to hear a card shop owner telling people not to do that, but it is wise from the standpoint of ROI.
Yeah.
And so we're in this
course.
weird kind of space where it's like, I don't know the answer, but it is definitely something to be aware of.
Yeah. People are always going to rip wax, right? Because it's nostalgic for some people. Some people it's fun for, and other people just want to gamble. For me, it's fun.
Yeah. No,
some people it's nostalgic, like pure nostalgia.
Well, something I'll tell you guys too that I'm aware of, and just to bring this up for those of our listeners with kids and stuff. So my boys, they love sports. They follow the stat line, not Matthew as much as the twins. And Matthew took his energy towards stat lines and understanding markets and put it towards cards. And that's why he's done really well. The twins have gotten they're more gamers. And so they have gotten intrigued by a couple of these apps. And I don't even know the name. I know one of them is called Fliff, but basically it's a free app that you can get and they give you like $1 a day and you can do a variety of things with that dollar. You can actually put it on a blackjack hand or you can bet on games. Now, I will tell you that this is something I monitor very closely, but they have been betting on things. Now, the thing about this app that's interesting is once you build that $1 up to $50, you can actually cash that out for real money. And again, to go from $1 to 50 is a pretty long shot or whatever, but our boys have done it twice now. And I've seen real money come into the account out of this Fliff thing. Now, they're trying to sell you all this other stuff or whatever. And so, but I'm serious, dude. It's very scary because the app creators, the whatever, they're trying to condition the next generation to be addicted to gambling.
It's really scary. It is really scary.
And I am fighting this tooth and nail with my 14-year-old sons because like last night they were watching the Hurricanes in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and they had put some money on this game through this Fliff app or whatever, and they're wanting to stay up to double overtime, 11 o'clock watching this Hurricanes game. And I'm like, yeah, this is fun. Then I'm like, holy crap, this is scary. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? And so whether it's that or the card thing or whatever, I want our listeners to be understanding of the dangers out there of what's actually going on and people being conditioned to be addicted to gambling and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. That actually is really scary
Well,
because
in
it's just you're
general,
conditioning the brain.
that's the whole thing with Apple started it with the iPhone that started the conditioning of the brain to have to be addicted to the device that we're all using probably right now to telecast here. But now they've taken it to kids with this YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts to
Yes.
me is the absolute number one worst thing I've ever seen on the planet for kids because kids cannot even sit through a baseball game anymore for 2.5
Yep.
hours because they're always got to have what is that next dopamine hit? What is that next 10
Yes.
to 15, 20-second video? And I've seen my kids do this on more than a dozen occasions, watch the same video within the same 30-minute loop 3 times. That was 15 seconds, and it was the dumbest stuff you've ever seen. I mean, the dumbest video,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there and I asked them, I'm like, what are you getting out of this? And it's just like this click, 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 next one. And it's just your brain going like, I need more of that. I need more of that. I need more of
And
that. And it's
yeah,
scary.
I'll tell you what, there's a reason why executives at YouTube and at Meta don't have their children watch YouTube or on Facebook or on Instagram. They don't allow it. I'm telling you that. Fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There's a
again,
reason.
maybe this is something for another day or whatever, but there's definitely some passion here for us as all of us being dads with young kids and like loving a hobby and loving to be engaged in sports or whatever, but then also seeing how unhealthy it can become and seeing the dangers that like our kids have. Like what little Matt has done and what I've been able to walk with him through with sports cards. I'm so proud of that. You know what I mean? I'm so proud of that. But the trade-off is he spends a lot of time on his device, and
Right.
he's on his phone a lot. And then I see it kind of going down to the twins, Gary, to your point. It's like the YouTube shorts and the reels and just the quick kind of cycle stuff or whatever. I mean, it's just kind of, I don't know, man. It's really, really interesting because it's easy to get lost in the world of like, oh my gosh, we're having fun, we're making money. Oh yeah, buy cards or whatever. And next thing you know, you look up and you're like, dude, like, is this really it? I mean, like, we want our kids to be like fake betting on, hockey
Yeah.
games. Like, come on, man.
It's
And so
all,
that's been a
yeah.
little bit of this reset. Going back to my kind of topic of my mind, I've been sitting here going, hey, do we need to reset? You know what I mean? The purpose and intentionality underneath all this.
Well,
Yeah.
and I mean, and
Yeah.
I'll this will be kind of my last statement on this. You hit it there with what about the Google and the Meta executives because we are the lab rats and our kids are the lab rats to their experiment. They have taken the smartest people on the planet and they have studied how the human brain works. They have studied it and they have said, how are we going to get people addicted to our product that have to consume more? How do we make our app better? How do we make shorts better? How do we make this product? And then how do we go incentivize influencers that are on these spaces and make them idolized? How do we idolize these people? And what it is, and whether people don't wake up to this or not, going to the park and going to the zoo like Kern has done, like if people aren't doing that and they're not going on walks and they're not going and sitting at real baseball games without their phone, go to the next baseball game. Go to your kid's next sporting event and watch how many parents, as their kid is playing the game, are on their phone. Okay. These
Yeah.
are adults. Watch the kids that are now even in the middle of games when they're older are trying to go to their cell phones. To me, it's a scary, scary, scary thing. And and we haven't
Yeah.
even got to the tip of this iceberg, boys, with AI coming where people are going to literally be falling in love with their phone. They're going to marry AI. It's a scary freaking world. And keep your kids in reality. Keep yourself in reality because it's
Yeah.
scary. Scary.
Yeah, I don't allow my kids to watch YouTube. It's deleted on every single TV, every single tablet they have. And when I come in the house, I put my phone in a drawer, because you got to lead by example. They see me on
Yeah.
my phone all the time. They're going to be on there. They're going to think that's what it is.
And that's the hard part, man. Like, truth be told, it's just, it's massively convicting. And I mean, again, we all have jobs. We all have clients. We all have things. We all, and you kind of justify it going, oh, I got to be available or I have to take this call or whatever. I actually had a lunch with a guy yesterday, and it was this weird span. We were having lunch. It was a coworker of mine, one of our guys, and I had a phone call from a client, and I decided to take the phone call from the client. That's probably spent 10 minutes outside on the phone, and I walked back in, and the guy was at the table, and I was like, man, what an ass to take that call in the middle of that lunch. You know what I mean? It's like I valued this client over this person that's in front of me when I could have told the client, like, hey, man, I'm at a lunch. Let me call you back. And like I woke up this morning having my coffee thinking about that. You know what I mean? And so today when I go into the office, I'm going to go to that employee. I'm going to go to that guy and say, hey, man, listen, I'm apologizing to you for taking that call during our lunch because that set a precedent that call was more important than you because you're in front of me.
Yeah.
And like that's something that I need to change about myself. But you just get so conditioned. It's like, oh, somebody needs me. I got to do this. Again, blah, 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 blah. And you get in this high functioning kind of thing, and it's just not healthy. And so, again, that's just. I think it's a nice way to end the show today. In the middle of the market, in the middle of the craziness, you're looking for the next opportunity. But like, are you really okay with just being okay? You know what I mean? Can you just sit back and be patient and wait and not have to dive in and have that next level of hit? So anyway, that's just kind of
Yeah.
the sobering sports card CEO thought of the day.
Yeah. It's okay to be bored in this hobby. You know what I mean? Like when I'm bored, I enjoy watching I've been enjoying watching more baseball games than anything. Like for the love of the sport, like that's why I started collecting baseball cards to begin with. I love the sport. So if I get a little burnt out and bored and, you got to be patient in the card market, but just watch baseball, man. If you enjoy baseball, just watch baseball. Enjoy. It's okay to be bored.
That's good.
Well,
That's my
this is
life
gonna be
lesson from.
This is going to be my best life lesson of the day. And I'm very thankful for my wife for this because we've been in a crazy busy season of life with sports and everything else. And I mean, I've got people coming at me from every different direction. I know I haven't been lately with you guys, even on some of our text messages. I haven't been as active because I've had to kind of protect myself in a way. I've had so much going on that I wasn't going to be strapped. I literally had to be strapped to my phone 24/7 every moment I'm not there. So I've had to kind of protect myself to be engaged with my family, to be engaged with my kid, to be in that moment. And I'd had this stress lately of like, hey, honey, I've got like 2 or 3 events that were coming up that I really just didn't want to go to. Okay. And these were things that like I didn't need to go to necessarily, but these people wanted me to go and I didn't really want to go to it. And my wife gave me a really good piece of advice. And I think this is what you can take the same piece of advice into sports cards right now in the stagnation period. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And I think that's exactly where you should be right now on sports cards. If it's a card you're about to buy, hell yes, I love this player. Hell yes, I love the value. Yes, I want to own that card. And if it's not, then you don't. If it's something that you wake up every day and you don't want to go to that dead end job every single day, then go find something in your life that's going to make you happy and passionate. And if you're not happy with something going on in your life, make it a hell yes. Make something that gives you hell yeses every day. And stop doing the hell no's. That's my best advice for the day. And it's been really good for me because it just keeps your mind pretty simple to go, man, I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. I want to do that. I'm going to do more of that. Anyway, that's it's my advice for the
Great
day.
advice, boys. Yeah, I tell you what, the motivational speaker in me, the consummate, you know what I mean, encourager in me, you boys have delivered some A-plus content today. From the mouth of Kern, we need to get a little poster card. It is okay to be bored. I mean,
It's okay to be bored. It's okay to be bored.
I love
Yep.
it. And then, Bubba, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, good stuff, boys. Well, as always, man, I appreciate you fellas. I'm looking forward. We need to put something on the calendar. I want to see you guys and give y'all some hugs and hang out and do the whole thing sometime soon, either at Ray Kinsella's field down there in Bum Garden.
Well, what's about to happen
or
if we're calling this thing CEO Field and the cost of, I'm about to ship you guys in here and help me install this thing. We're going to do the labor.
You better have some sweat equity in this thing, boys.
Yeah.
Well, as always, man, appreciate you guys. And to our listeners, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Sports Card CEO. We will be back with you guys next week.
See you guys.